Robinson here from Robinson's Auto, toolsandtime.com. Welcome back. Got a 2007 Dodge Avenger. Sounds like there's a bunch of marbles ready to escape from underneath the hood. Well, if you're having this problem, I'll show you what the problem most likely is for you. These alternators use what they call a decoupling pulley, and they're known for going bad. 9 times out of 10, that's what your problem is. So today I'm going to show you how to remove the alternator. So this will also apply if you're just removing and replacing the alternator. Sometimes it does take a special set of tools to change out the decoupling pulley, but in this case it's a stock one that's on it. I'm replacing it with the same type, so it's a 17 millimeter hex, I believe, but that's determined once we get it off. However, this will apply to removing and replacing the alternator, and along with replacing the decoupling pulley. Okay, the first thing you want to do before removing the alternator is disconnect the negative side of the battery. Now in this 2008 Dodge Avenger, the battery is located underneath the driver's side left front headlight. Now you could access it easy if you remove the left front tire and the plastic cover and the wheel well. However, to make it a little easier on you, you see the radiator support in the headlight? If you take a long extension in a swivel socket, it's not quite a straight shot, it's a little offset, so you're going to need a swivel 12 millimeter socket, or a 12 millimeter socket and a swivel extension. And just remove that nut, and then there's an eyelet with the cable on it, and you just remove the cable and position it out of the way where it's not going to touch. Keep in mind that once you disconnect that battery, you might lose all your preset stations on your radio. And if you have a radio that requires a security code, you're going to have to re-enter it. But safety first, guys. Okay, now if you come down here on the right side of the vehicle, guys, you can see I got it jacked up, firmly seated on a jack stand. I removed this cover. All I did was I didn't remove the wheel. I just turned it all the way to the right. Removed the cover. That's not necessary. I'm only doing that for demonstration purposes. Okay, prior to removing the accessory belt, it's always good to try to identify the routing of the serpentine belt. So I'm going to be posting one along with this video. However, you see that idler pulley right down there? Well, it takes a 16 millimeter wrench, and we're going to take and turn it counterclockwise to relieve the tension on the belt, and then I'm going to just simply slip it off of the power steering pump. Take and simply put it on a tensioner, pull it up, and peel the belt off the power steering pump, just like so. Next we're going to go underneath, and we got to lower the AC compressor. It's only 3 bolts. Sounds complicated, guys, but it's not. Okay guys, then once you come underneath the vehicle, that's the AC compressor. As you can see, there's 1 bolt right there, another bolt right there, and 1 more right there. 3 bolts, 13 millimeter socket. You're going to take and want to remove them 3 bolts and unplug that electrical connection. Okay, remove the bolts. Okay guys, once you have them 3 bolts removed, then you can take and position the AC compressor somewhere out of the way. Now don't go yanking this thing around too much because your lines are still attached to it, so you don't want to take a chance in cracking them. So, you know, just move it as you need to get access and to remove the alternator. Now you can see I got an open shot to the alternator. And you see the 2 connections on the back. You got 1 connection here. This is your main battery connection that comes from your battery, and then you got this other connection. I'm going to take and unplug that. Let's get a wrench and remove that nut and position that cable out of the way. Okay, remove the nuts, the 13 millimeter. And this is why you want to disconnect the battery, guys, because this would be live. Okay, just remove it like so. Alrighty. I guess if you're a real risk taker, you could do this live with the battery hooked up. Just make sure you take and put that cable somewhere where it's not going to ground out. Put a piece of tape on it or whatever. However, to be safe, I recommend disconnecting the battery. Okay, and next you can see there's a through bolt, and this is the nut side of the bolt. So we're going to want to position this AC compressor in a different location so we can get to the bolt and remove that. Okay, now we're looking at the front side. Hopefully you guys got a good shot. And as you can see, this idler pulley, and right there's the bolt we're going to want to remove. I can already see that there's not enough room to remove that bolt, so we're going to have to take and remove this idler pulley. It's a 16mm socket. Okay, just like so. Okay, now you can see we have a straight shot to that bottom retaining bolt. That's a 16mm socket as well. I'm just holding the backside nut against the bracket, and I'll show you why once I get this removed. I'm going to leave the bottom bolt through right now until I get the top one removed. But as you can see, that nut on the back side had a little bracket on it to keep it from spinning. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now we're back up top. We're going to remove the top retaining bolt on that alternator. As you can see it right there. It's probably easier to remove it from up top. However, to give you guys a shot. The sacrifices I make to help you guys out, I tell you. The 13mm. I still got the AC compressor moved back. Now we're going to take in, as you can see, the alternator moves now. Remove this lower bolt. Then we can take and remove the alternator. Sometimes just gotta give it a little jiggle diggle, and then lower her down out. Okay, let's go to the bench. Okay, now we're over here at the bench. Now in this step, if money isn't an issue, you would simply just buy another alternator and reinstall it. However, if you want to save, in some cases, a couple $100, then you would simply just replace this decoupling pulley. Now, usually you'll find a cover over this. You'll take yourself a pick or a small screwdriver, pop that cover out. Now you can see this hex. You're going to need a 17mm Allen. Or in my case, I just got a piece of hex stock, which was 17mm. 11/16 is real close. And here's the new one. It's a Gates part number. I don't know if you can see that. 37018P. 37018P. That's a Gates. I got this one online. I think it was like $45, guys. The new alternator was probably like $240. So do the math. You can probably find them cheaper. However, it's still, I can almost guarantee, going to be at least half, if not a quarter, of what you're going to pay for even a reman. So you'll see that the new one will come with instructions. Pretty much it tells you a 17mm Allen key and an impact gun, a couple quick bursts should break that loose. So if you can't find a 17mm socket, Allen socket, or hex stock, I'd get myself a nut and weld a bolt to it, and then I don't know if that makes any sense. If I had a bolt that took a 17mm socket, I would take and put a nut on there. I don't know if double nutting it will give you enough, but putting a nut on and then welding it, maybe that'll get you loose. But as you can see with the new one, I can take and only spin it in one direction. When I try to reverse it, it doesn't turn. That's how it's supposed to work, and no noises. As you can see with this one, I I can almost turn it that way, but it's pretty much locked up. Okay. So we got my impact out. Now you're going to want to have something with a little bit of nut. That one came right out. Sometimes it takes a little more, guys, but that one came right off. As you can see, it's the alternator bearings are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. It's the bearings inside that decoupler that go bad. So, alright, let's install the new one. It's always a good practice to make sure it's the same. And this is a direct replacement. Now if you were getting a real cheap aftermarket one, or sometimes just another make, it might have some kind of different type of socket, then you might need a special tool. So it's always better to get the same one, that way all you need is that 17. Now you can put some Loctite on those threads if you want. However, if you ever need to do it again, I don't really recommend it. So this will actually get tighter as the motor runs because of the rotation. So even by the instructions it tells you manually thread IDP onto alternator shaft until it bottoms on the alternator bearing. This will prevent thread crossing. Yeah. Engage the 17mm drive, Allen socket support. 1/2 inch firmly, torque with an impact gun for 3 to 4 seconds. The impact gun must have a max torque of 90 psi of air. We got that covered, guys. Okay, I got it ran down. It's touching. Give it a few quick hits. Okay, guys. That's it. Now we can take and install the cover that came with the new one. That'll keep all the dirt and debris out. And another thing I noticed, guys, when I took this cover off, it was full of this metal shavings and debris. Another indication that something came apart inside that decoupler. Alright guys, let's reinstall the alternator. That wasn't so bad, was it? Pretty much just reverse the steps you did to take it out. Just finagle the alternator up in there. Okay, put your bottom bolt through. Okay, put your top bolt in. Like I said, guys, just picking the easiest way to get to it. I'm just trying to be out of your way. May take some finagling to get this top one in, guys, because there's some play in that lower bracket. So just wiggle it around a little bit until you get them both started. Whatever you do, don't tighten the bottom one before you. Don't tighten either without getting them both started. Okay, get your nut with the bracket on it. Put it behind. Get her started. Alright, just make them nice and tight, guys. Get nice and tight. Sorry I don't have any torque specs for you. However, you'll get the hang of it. And as you can tell, it makes no more noise than I could take and spin that in one direction, guys. I think we got a fix. Let's take and reinstall the idler. Make it tight. Now let's hook the wires back up on the back side of the alternator. Like just like anything else, do the reverse deal on it. Hook up your battery connection. You see there's a little groove up top. It was a 13 millimeter, if I can remember right. Okay guys, you don't want to go too tight, because if you make this one too tight, you'll actually spin it. You might mess something up inside the alternator. So just make it a little bit more than snug. Hook that back up. Plug your upper connection back in. That was broke before. However, it still holds good. Okay. Now we take and put the AC compressor back in place. Bolts are all three the same length, 13 millimeter. Snug them all down first. You don't want to make these too tight, guys, because it's only aluminum. Just a little bit more than snug, you know. Don't want to go breaking anything. Okay. And plug your electrical connection back in. Like so. Okay guys, let's put the serpentine belt back on. There's no way to get you up in there to show you the route, and so I'll put the belt on and then I'll show you, but there it is. Okay, I put the belt on from underneath and it seemed to go on real easy. I think it's actually easier to get to that tensioner from down here. Like I said, with the, what is it, a 16 wrench? Yeah, 16. Just get it on there and it's a lot easier from down here, guys. But pretty much starting up at the power steering pump, came down around that top tensioner, all the way down around the water pump, back up from the water pump, went around that tensioner, around the harmonic balancer, around the AC compressor, up around the alternator, and around that idler. I'll see if I could attach that diagram, though. It'll be a lot easier for you. Okay guys, I'm pretty much all together. The only thing I didn't do is put the lower splash guard back on and lower it off the jack stand. However, before I go through all that, I want to make sure we got a fix. So, got the negative battery hooked back up, so go ahead and reconnect your negative battery. And we're ready to try it out. Moment of truth, guys. Okay, here we go.